This guy, lose right bicep, is a psychopath, man. I mean, there's no question about it. This guy loves to hate. I think he dedicates his whole life to just try to find something. He's desperate. You know, desperation. Desperado, I have to find something on the internet so I could break a father's balls, split them in two so they resemble Teddy Zane's balls. Anyway, he loves to break my balls. So he searches the internet and he finds something, right? He finds something. He's like, look at this. This is great. This is awesome. And I'll tell you exactly what it was. A long time ago, this, I don't even know how long, 8 years ago, I don't know, 10 years ago. These people are so desperate. They find things from like a decade ago. They're nuts, okay? I was working, I believe, as a music teacher in a school, okay? It was if I can't even remember. I mean, you're talking so long ago. This was a local school in Staten Island, I think it was. And I can't remember. I don't. You're asking me to remember things from 10 years ago. I can't even remember what I had for breakfast yesterday. But it was a very short thing. I was just doing part time. I don't even want to mention the school's name because God forbid, that he's going to get upset at me, the owner, and he's a good friend of mine. I don't want to go there. But I was working with a music school, and the guy who was the manager there, okay, we became very good friends. And we both kind of had this like entrepreneurial spirit about us. You understand? Like, and we came up with this idea like one day we were just having a couple of beers, not in the music studio. This was when the music studio closed down and we went across the street to the bar and we having a couple of drinks. He's like, what would be really great? And we were talking about it, right? Like a gym idea, but based on music equipment. Like, when you go to a gym and you use the gym's equipment. So he's like, imagine you have a place, right? Like, it was kind of both of us had this idea. He says, imagine you have a place and you have like all types of, music equipment, the best keyboards, the best drums, the best guitars, everything, and like a studio where you could record, you could maybe jam out with each other. And like musicians would pay a monthly fee for this, to have access to all of this. So I was like, but that's a great effort idea. Like I would love to do something. Like I wish I could like spend $30, right? And walk into a place and have access to all the best keyboards, all the best guitars, best drums, okay, whatever. So he said, why don't we do this? Okay. Let's contact musicians nationwide and see how they like it. See how they like kind of like do like a test marketing campaign, right? So we never, just so to be on the record here, we never collected any money. No money was ever collected. And let me repeat that to lose bicep. No money was collected. Okay. So he brought up this one particular case, right? Where there was a guy, I called him, it was like a musician, and I was telling him about the idea. And I remember this guy. I do remember him. He told me to go F myself. Because I guess I was a telemarketer. He didn't like getting a telemarketing call. He said, go F yourself. And he hung up on me. Now, what happened was I got angry, because I'm Italian. I'm so, I'm like, why is this guy telling me to go F myself for, right? So I called him back. I said, you go F yourself. He didn't like that too much. See, people in this world feel like they have the right to curse you out. It's like that crazy woman who tried to run me over. Remember that crazy Karen? Like I was pulling my car into the bagel, store, into that like parking lot. And because I made that crazy woman wait like a couple of extra seconds, she opened up a window. She says, go F yourself, she told me. Then I opened up my window. I said, no, you go F yourself. And that resulted in her trying to run me over. So people in this world feel they have the right to curse you, insult you, but you can't do it back to them. Well, that's not the way. Look, I come from Brooklyn. You tell me go after myself, expect to get it back tenfold. So that's what happened in this case. I just wanted to call this guy. I wanted to send him out an email just for him to read it, to consider the idea that we came up with. And again, we were not accepting anybody. I mean, there was eventually going to be a fee, but we weren't accepting anybody at that point. It was just we were presenting musicians with an idea, and it just turned out we were getting a lot of negativity. A lot of people like this guy, they weren't interested. Musicians like, nah, I have my own equipment. So we trashed the idea. That's it. We had an idea, me and this guy. We were working at a music studio, and we're good friends, and we came up with an idea. We didn't really get a positive reaction from it, and we trashed it. We ended it. There's nothing. Listen to me. Let me try to explain something to all of you. There is nothing wrong with coming up with an idea, testing the market to see if the market likes it, to see how they react to a meeting, whatever your audience is. That's what I mean when I say the market. And if you get a negative feedback and you decide, you know what, look, let's just trash this. It's no different than anything else. Like, what do you think? Like some of the biggest entrepreneurs, like I'll throw one at you, Donald Trump. Okay, I'll give you one example. Donald Trump had an idea once called TV City. Okay, so what he wanted to do was build this whole gigantic development, but base it around NBC, like in all the big TV stations being the main tenants, and making it kind of like a Hollywood setting. And he wanted to build the world's largest building in New York City on this development. And, he pushed it. He pushed it hard. And ultimately, it just never broke ground. He never got the backing he needed. He never got the financing. NBC never agreed. He couldn't get them to agree to become a tenant. Long story short, he canned the idea. He trashed the idea. There's nothing wrong with coming up with an idea, testing the market, and ultimately seeing how they feel about it. So, of course, this guy who he's referring to called me some sort of a scam artist. He didn't call me a scam artist because I was doing anything that was a scam. This guy didn't like the fact that I cursed him. He didn't like the fact that I told him to go F himself. He told me to go F myself, then I told him to go F himself. But anyway, no money was collected, okay? No business ever took place. No money was accepted by any musician, and the idea was canned and was trashed. So Lou's right bicep, who looks back on me a decade in my life, try again. Nah, you didn't come up with a winner. You came up with a loser. You came up with a dud, just like you. You're a dud.